We're back on TYT Sports. I'm the right place, right?
I believe you are.
I think I'm back. Yeah,
You're back.
I think I'm back for this, that sport where you have the ball and they put it into the goal and stuff like that. And it's kind of popular.
I'm new. I'm Robert Little. Yes. Nice to meet you.
So nice to be hosting with you.
I've heard great things about you.
I've heard great things about you. You've been carrying this torch. You just heard that the Scottish guy's coming in to talk about football to appease the audience who's been wanting it to happen again. So it is a pleasure to be back in the studio. A lot of great memories to be back in from New York briefly to talk about this beautiful game that takes the world by storm every day of the week. It seems to be taking the United States by storm usually once every 4 years.
Exactly.
But that's a common misconception in my opinion. I think it takes America by storm quite a lot when you pay attention to the audience that is here, which is what I wanted to talk about. So the importance of Mexico in this tournament, because the United States are not in it. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that for everyone, but don't worry, I feel you, because being from Scotland, the last tournament we were in, it was 1998.
Wow.
1990, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
That's 20 years without even competing.
Think of all the stuff that wasn't here now 20 years ago.
I've seen the amount of memes that it gets thrown my way every time around when we realize Scotland aren't in the tournament. It's like there was no Instagram the last time Scotland were playing in a World Cup. No, but I think Facebook was around, but it was just slow.
You had to go to college to be on Facebook. Like you had to actually be enrolled.
It was a tough time. And then everyone always says, because it's close by, they're like, well, you could just support England.
It's close by. It's down the street. It's around the corner.
That's suicide in Scotland if you support England during the World Cup.
I understand that.
But the thing that, and it's funny enough because I wanted to get into that topic, but we can get to it pretty early. There seems to be this reluctance for people in the US in certain aspects to support Mexico because they're not in the tournament. And I think that that's a little different. I know there's a rivalry there, and the difference is in this country, the rivalry is not as historic, I think, as the whole England versus Scotland, where if you want to see that as reference, that movie Braveheart, you seen that movie?
I've seen Braveheart.
There you go. That's enough reason why we can't support England during this.
Movie.
Yes, very much so.
Now. You better have a lot of time if you want to watch Braveheart.
But Mexico, the reason I bring this up is Landon Donovan pledged his allegiance to Mexico before the tournament started. It was actually it was more in the lines of a sponsorship. I think Wells Fargo paid him to say, hey, I'm supporting Mexico. But it caused a reaction. A lot of former US players were saying, really? Like, why? But the thing is, that's not uncommon, because the reason, in my opinion, why this sport is growing in popularity is because how passionate Mexico is about their football. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I mean, we can see videos right here of the fans celebrating that winning goal against Germany. And to me, that was one of the biggest indicators as to how popular this game can be, because I was around bars in New York watching this game. I was drenched in beer. There was tequila shots getting thrown my way.
Look at that.
But this is in Mexico City. And if you go to any bar across Los Angeles at 8 a.m. in the morning, I was seeing my friends who were out Snapchatting it. This was a very
This is what was going on. It's because, America is a melting pot, no matter what people like to tell you.
Yes.
It's a melting pot. It has a lot of different people from a lot of different places, and most good people embrace that.
Absolutely.
So I think Americans, even if we're not in it, we see the joy of other people, maybe our neighbors, maybe our friends, especially in a place like, California or in New York, where, you'll be hard pressed to go a block and just see one, race or one culture. You're going to see different ones. So you're happy, for them. So I think a lot of people, I didn't have a problem with Landon Donovan. I think, hey, I'm happy to see anybody that happy. Because that makes me happy.
Of course.
To see that. And plus, hey, man, the tequila, it was flowing. Everybody was, hey, you want some tequila? I'll take it.
That's amazing.
So I think it's great to find a team when your team's not in it to kind of latch on to, because it gives you motivation to watch.
And the funny thing is I tweeted out my usual American soccer fan stereotype before the tournament, where I said, I'm excited for the World Cup, and I'm also excited to meet that guy in the bar who just ran his Ancestry.com search. So he's wearing a Germany top, Sweden shorts, and England socks to represent all the countries. But then when it comes to supporting Mexico, all of a sudden people are like, well, no, they're our rivals, they're our neighbors. Like, I've said it boldly before. There's a lot of problems within the infrastructure of American soccer, right? I think the pay-to-play program needs to be completely taken out of it. You need kids in all economic class able to play the sport, and you can play it simply with a couple of jumpers on the street. That's sweaters. That's what we say.
Okay, look at it. I'm learning soccer slang.
This is a jumper.
All right.
So, and you need to make it more accessible for those teams to play. And I think that in specifically the Hispanic community in the United States, a lot of kids play the sport from such an early age. They choose it over basketball. They choose it over American football, but they don't have the opportunities to go and play it at a higher level and go through the development system. That needs to change, because when you see the passion that's surrounding the Mexican national team, it's clear and evident you have that audience right here. You don't need to bring in Zlatan Ibrahimovic from across the country or David Beckham. Look at these fans. They are so passionate about this sport. Chicharito Hernandez was in tears after that win against Germany because it was so historic. And they beat the team that are the world champions. So you might be a little bit jealous that your neighbors are in the tournament and beating the world beaters. But you got to get behind it, because when it comes to 2026 and this tournament comes here, that is what's going to drive the focus. That is what's going to make sure that this tournament ignites the passion that is the World Cup and continues to push it forward.
We see that same issue in baseball. Kids like to play baseball at a young age. But then as they get in their teen years, it's just more difficult for them, be it economically or there's just not enough programs. So I think soccer has always had that issue in the United States where, basketball is pushed, football is pushed very, very hard. Even baseball is pushed in some degrees level. But as they get older, soccer is kind of pushed by the wayside.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see it when it comes to 2026. But what I'm more excited about is to continue talking with you about the beautiful game, because I know I did it with Rick in the past. I did it with Jason in the past. I just like to push my soccer love onto people. You don't get a choice.
Well, see, when I was a kid, you know what I played? I played kickball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was the kickball king.
You were the kickball king?
I was the kickball king. I was the person that pitched and the person that kicked. I was dangerous with the foot. I wore a size 13 shoe.
You were a size 13 shoe. That's a lot of surface for that
That's
ball
what I'm saying.
I
can do something. Now my head, I don't know if it's hard enough, because that looks like you get a concussion every time you do that. But I'm excited. Tell me, I want to know more.
I love that. The people often are scared about a concussion with hitting a ball that weighs not even a kilogram. But when it comes to American football, they're ramming helmets into each other. I'm like, no, it's fine. We can go ahead and do this, no problem. But I don't want you guys to go anywhere, because there is more World Cup coverage coming up. We're going to talk about this tournament being up for grabs, because I can't call it at this moment, and usually my precisions are on point until I get them wrong, where I say I never actually said that anyway.
Wrong.
And then we're going to talk about the ultimate thing, which is Messi versus Ronaldo.
Ooh, soccer beef.
Soccer. Make sure you guys don't want to go anywhere. Stay tuned to TRT Sports. Robert, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you firsthand, and I will see you guys very soon.
And you can get all of our coverage also on the TYT app. Go download it now from the App Store.